This is You've Already Been Hacked, recorded on
27 February 2026. Welcome back to You've Already Been Hacked. It's been a long week. It's been a long week in cyber. And if you're following me on LinkedIn, which Cowboy, I know you do because you're lovely and you post things that I repost. I had a little bit of a soapbox last night. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see the last night. Tell me about it. And I follow you on everything, even your only cyber.
Oh, well, thank you. That's a different discussion. No, all right, we'll start off with this before we get to the stories, everybody. So last night, I kind of had a soapbox moment on LinkedIn. Professional, as always, consummate professor, always professional. It's hitting the topics that we have talked about forever on the podcast. Cybersecurity, but also the advent of agentic agents locally. Specifically, let's talk about people that are running with scissors wide open and open claw, or pick your Claude du jour, or Perplexity computer, or Claude Cowork, or whatever. And generally, my post is this: you're not ready. Do not install this on your computer, regardless of what every other YouTube expert is telling you to do. You're not ready. You will mess up your system. You will spend way too much money if you attempt to do it, especially if you're going to plug into Frontier APIs. It is just, they're dangerous for you to use. The technology itself is not necessarily what I'm concerned with. I'm concerned with people are being told to just install it and start using it so that you can stay competitive. And while there's a level of truth to that, you're not ready for this thing to make a mistake on your data. I, Cowboy, and you know this, we've talked about it, I have an OpenClaw agent, and I've been training it methodically, slowly, to ensure that it remembers things, that it does things the way I want it to do, that it's not using ClawHub skills because 15% of them have been reported malicious to begin with. And I have it in a container where it only has access to the information in its folders and not on my main computers, or, God forbid, my main NAS server that has all of my data on it. Because why would I want that thing to mistakenly go, well, I'll just do an RM-RF and just delete everything? Kind of like what happened to the Facebook senior executive that lost like all their production files and they couldn't stop it from doing it. I'm not saying don't learn the technology. I'm not saying don't investigate it. Do so smartly and don't run with scissors open, because it's really upsetting to see good people do that. And it's even more upsetting to have the entire FOMO world involved with it just go, oh, just do it. Just do it. You can do it. It's so easy to do. Just do it. It's not. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not. It's just not. And I'm going to get
So
off
I
my
looked up
soapbox
your
now.
post. Yeah, I looked up your post. You're 100% right. Like, it's upsetting to me that the people that make this know better, and the fact that they're just yelling for everyone to download it and stuff is seriously irresponsible.
Yeah.
I think I'm a pretty savvy cyber ops guy, and even I'm hesitant. And so to be telling the average user that can't even secure their phone or turn MFA on their bank stuff, right,
Yeah.
to download this and connect it to everything is just it's irresponsible from the companies. Period. Dot.
And I'll say
And it's
this,
irresponsible of people to follow it.
it's irresponsible of influencers to suggest it. It's
Oh,
categorically dangerous. I
if you
mean,
do anything an influencer says, you kind of
except for us,
sorry,
except for us,
you
we're okay.
no. I don't know if I don't want to even ever call myself an influencer, because I hate the term so much. But like, yeah, if you're doing what some schmuck on their little video thing says you should do that has no cyber background whatsoever, you reap what you sow in that case, right? Like, listen to experts, and like us
Well, hold on.
in
So
cyber.
let's qualify, because that's a loaded term. Because a lot of these people that are touting this stuff are quote unquote experts. And
Oh
I don't
God, see,
believe them.
that's
I
irresponsible.
don't believe them because a responsible expert would not be advocating for you to just do it. They just wouldn't. It's not I will categorically say these things are not safe for you to just plug in and go. The reason they're not safe is not their design. Forget the level of
Mm,
security that's built into them. Like, that's a different conversation altogether.
right.
These things, by their nature, are designed to find a way to complete the task you have provided them as they interpret the task. And that's a real clear statement. So if you are not clear, hyper clear with your instruction, it is not going to be the agent's fault. It's going to be yours. And guess what? It is your fault. Period. Full stop. But again, I I'm not going to say don't attempt to use these things. That's not my point. I am a strong advocate of using AI appropriately and have been for a couple of years at this point. Like, I'm saying move at speed, move at the speed that you can move at, but don't ju who would ever just give anything full access to all of your information? Cowboy, I'm willing to bet you don't give Mrs. Cowboy carte blanche access to all of your digital information.
No, I couldn't afford that bill.
Okay,
No.
like, even the person in theory, and, no assuasions here against Mrs. Cowboy whatsoever.
Yep.
In theory, she is the person you trust most in your life, right? That
Right.
would be a fair assumption. Even her, you're not giving access to everything off rip for her to do whatever she feels like, whenever she feels like, to her interpretation of what is right.
There's no way. Like you said, she's not educated and trained in how to use those types of things. Same reason she would never bring me into the the law room to spout my ideas about law stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's the same, it's same, right? You're not going to go, down to NASA and be like, I'm ready to go up in the space shuttle.
Now, but okay,
And so,
I'll here, devil. I'm sorry. We'll get into the news here in a minute, my folks. I'm sorry. Um, the LLMs that you're going to install on most consumer grade hardware, okay, are going to be too dumb by the amount of parameters that they have, which will still be a lot of parameters. Don't get me wrong, to do things effectively and correctly the majority of the time. There's this test going around on the internet, and I have tested it on multiple different size language models at this point. And Cowboy, I would suggest you do this in your free time if you haven't done it already. Here is the question to ask your LLM. And if your LLM gets it wrong and you can't fit a bigger language model on your system, don't even bother using an agent on your system. Period. Don't use a local one. And here it is. I need to clean my car. Period. This is the prompt you're going to give. I need to clean my car. Period. There is a car wash 100 meters from my house. Period. Should I walk or drive? Question mark. And that's it. See what it gives you. See what answer it provides. If it gets that question wrong, your model is not going to be capable of providing you any level of assurance of doing anything correct at scale, especially when long context matters, and tooling skills and everything else. And it doesn't matter about the size of the model, because there are some big models that are getting that wrong. So I would be careful. To say that also is most consumer grade hardware is not going to be capable of running medium-sized models, which is really where you want to be to even start to consider to use an agentic agent. Now, we'll flip that a little bit. Okay, Professor, I don't have the hardware to run it myself, so I'm going to play Anthropic or Perplexity, or pick your provider. And I'm not picking on them for anything other than their two providers, right? $200 a month. to be able to do this. You really want to be paying $200 a month with a tool that you don't really know how to use yet? Now, if it's for your business, one, I would hope that you would be smart enough to bifurcate things off so it doesn't have full access to all of your business files, just like anything else. But if you're using it for business and you have a level of expertise, go run. You know, do it the right way. You're going to probably make money by doing it. Yes. To the average user, that's $200 a month, and I don't know where you are in the world, but in the United States, things are getting a little more expensive than they have in a while. Is that really where that money should be best spent right now?
Mm-hmm.
And that
Bang for the buck, my man.
that's my cyber talk for tonight.
Yeah. Think of this. Just think about one of the zero trust pillars, least privilege, right?
Yeah.
Always least privilege. Everything gets access at the least privilege to do its job. And I don't think your AI agent needs access. Your underpowered, under LLM sized agent needs access to everything in your digital portfolio.
100% not. And that's why even the one I'm running does not have full access to everything.
Yeah.
It literally has access to only shares on my network that I provide it. And it is trained one skill or one part of one skill at a time to ensure that I know the way it acts is the way I expect and want it to act. And I've built it in such a way that it records what actions it's supposed to take. Now, does that mean it could still mess things up? And yes, it could. But because I'm giving it least privilege to do only what I'm asking it to do, I don't feel like I'm running with scissors. If I am, I'm running with them closed. I'm not running with them open.
And handle out, at least.
At least, right. Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm very, very heated up about it because I'm tired of seeing video after video after video telling people to go do something that, quite frankly, they don't have most people will not have the technology to run things at an acceptable level, period, nor will they have the background to be able to use the tool the way the tool is meant to be used today. Does that mean 6 months, 12 months, 24, 48 months from now, that's the truth? No, but right now, that's my stance. So stop telling people to do things that they're not ready to do.
That's right. Message to all you influencers out there: stay in your lane. Talk about how to get stains out of your shirts or whatever it is you.
I'll put this out there too. And Cowboy, we've said our backgrounds a little bit before. I'll say mine again on this podcast because we have a few more people listening now than we have in the past. All right. I will take my 20 plus years experience in the U.S. intelligence community, working at the National Security Agency and other intel agencies, and in the private sector, my level of cyber expertise at this point against any influencer that is telling people to run with scissors and install these agents. I will take them to a debate. Any one of you. I'll do it in a table of a gallery debate. You're wrong. Period. And I will prove it. And I will make you all look like fools if you decide to take up that offer from me. We'll do it on your show. We don't even have to do it on mine. You're wrong.
It has to be both of us because we have 50 years between the two of us.
All right, you can be there too. Sure, I just didn't want to speak for you.
I'm emotional support. You know what I mean? I'm just the face of the program. That's
it. Very good. Okay.
You're the brains on the face.
That's really how I feel. So I that is an open challenge to anyone that claims to be an expert and is telling people publicly, go and install this because otherwise you'll be behind. Because you're wrong. Now, people are going to be left behind in this AI bubble that we're in. 100%. Not saying that's a good thing. It's terrible, but it's going to happen. And I'm sorry for everyone that's got AI hate up their sleeves right now. Train's out of the station. Pandora's box has been opened.
Yeah,
it ain't going away.
You're the same people that hated cars, right? When the Model A came out.
Yeah, Hey, you still have horses. Like I'm not saying they're great, right?
You can
No, they're
have
great.
both. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Right. All right. Let's get to the news.
Okay.
Okay. In our first story, Yes Bank ramps up security after sudden surge in forex card fraud. Yes Bank's multi-currency prepaid forex card issued through Book My Forex suddenly saw a spike in declined transactions. 15 Latin American merchants flagged for suspicious activity. The bank discovered that fraudsters were exploiting merchants that didn't enforce two-factor authentication, leading to cascades of unauthorized withdrawals. In response, Yes Bank announced immediate safeguards, enhanced fraud monitoring, dashboard, stricter transaction limits, mandatory 2FA for all merchants, and emergency hotlines for affected customers. The incident underscores how an even established financial institution can be vulnerable to sophisticated carding operations that target gaps in merchant level security. This matters because this shows that bank tech vulnerability still exists today. Prepaid cards are a growing attack vector. Consumer trust, well, I think is at an all-time low, and this just helps keep that there. And regulatory pressure. This incident follows the IDFC's first bank fiasco, highlighting scrutiny on private bank safeguards. So, what can you or should you be doing right now? Well, demand 2FA everywhere at a minimum. Passkeys are great too. I know one of the senior executives. I worked with them at the White House at Chase Bank, and they are starting to do their test rollout of passkeys for consumer banking, which is fantastic. I wish them full luck on that. And for those that don't know, passkeys started off at the White House while I was there. Wasn't my initiative, but I know of it and I know intimately of it for what was called trusted identities. And that was 2010. So it's only taken 16 years for it to start to become a reality. So there you go. You should be monitoring your statements closely and set up auto alerts for large or overseas debits. Report your suspicious activity promptly. Make sure your bank knows when you see something that's wrong because they might not, although they're pretty good these days. But, be your own advocate. And then advocate for industry standards and push for regulators to mandate at least two-factor authentication for all card accepting merchants, especially those serving high risk regions. Cowboy?
Yeah, you stole my technical inject from me a little bit, but that's okay. So passkeys are phishing resistant, and in fact, they're immune, pretty much immune to phishing. You cannot use them for credential stuffing, and you can't use them in remote hacking attempts. So this is really good that this is taking off, and fantastic to hear that it only took, what did you say, 14
16,
years or
16
whatever,
years.
16 years. I mean, the speed of cyber, right? Um, During this incident period, there were approved transactions on behalf of 5,000 customers, but active monitoring allowed them to stop 688 transactions. So it's something, right? It's a good showcase of active monitoring, continuous monitoring, and behavioral analytics that was able to alert to an anomaly, and they could begin their incident response and get after it. So, um, you know, we always say nothing is safe. Given enough time, someone's going to get in. It's just the way it is. But good on them that they caught them and they're taking steps they should have taken 10 years ago. But, and interested to see this kind of fraud coming out of Latin America. We don't often talk about that region.
Usually out of the Asian market area. Yeah, so that's different.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, way to go, South America.
Well, welcome to the table.
Yep. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. All right. Our next story here. Phishing and ransomware has driven message security markets into a surge. The global messaging security market, valued at 10.5 billion last year, is projected to grow to over 36 billion by 2023. The surge is powered by escalating phishing, ransomware, and remote access vulnerabilities. AI-powered detection is becoming essential to filtering malicious messages in real time, protect enterprise workloads, and ensure compliance with privacy regulations. The report highlights that the United States segment will lead growth, with Europe and APAC following closely. This matters because the rise in phishing attacks has been 83% As of the Verizon data breach report 2025, 83% of breaches begin with phishing now. Enterprise messaging as a target, Teams, Slack, your WordPress teams. Pick your messaging app du jour in enterprise. They are high value targets for credential theft. And AI defense. Machine learning models can identify zero-day malicious links faster than manual filters can. What should you all be doing right now about this? Well, adopt AI-enabled message gateways. Deploy solutions that can scan attachments, URLs, and metadata in real time. Segment your teams. Isolate sensitive groups to reduce lateral spread if malicious messages slip through, kind of like you would want to do with an agentic agent. Educate employees and run phishing simulations, drills that mimic evolving threat vectors, and review vendor security posture. Ensure third-party messaging partners meet rigorous security standards. Cowboy?
Standards at a minimum. So the US segment of that by itself is going to grow from 4 billion to 14 billion. Got to figure out how to invest in that. I spent my week this week teaching Security Plus Bootcamp. So good luck to all my bootcamp graduates on your tests whenever you take them. But I harped when we covered bring your own devices a couple times in the bootcamp, right? And how that substantially increases your attack surface and environment when you allow people to connect their everyday cell phones to your network. It's crazy. I cannot believe people allow it. I don't care what positives it might bring. That is so dangerous for your network because the average user is so cyber dumb. And so not surprised to see this spike because you're presenting it to the adversaries.
And
You're gifting it.
vice versa on that too, right? Why would you as an individual use your corporate device for personal reasons? One, you're opening up an attack vector to the company, okay. But two, if that company's network is breached, so is your data. And by the way, your data
Mhm.
is then open to discovery too. That's just a small little tidbit if you didn't know that.
Yeah, some of the better agencies, like if you are going to use your personal cell phone for work, means you have to agree for them to lock it down. And that is, if you're going to do it, that's the best approach. But
Right.
also, like, I don't want my personal phone locked down with my, work requirements because I don't need that on my personal phone. But the, I have a hard time processing why. Just have two phones, get over it, and move on with your life.
Hmm. I agree. What's next here? Okay, Australia mandates minimum security standards for consumer smart devices. Starting the 4th of March of 2026, Australia will enforce mandatory minimum security standards for most consumer smart devices sold within the country. The legislation covers Internet of Things appliances, wearables, and home automation systems. Manufacturers must provide secure boot, encryption at rest, and secure update mechanisms. The law also introduces a security rating for devices, making it easier for consumers
Hmm.
to compare and choose safer products.
That's fantastic.
That it
Sorry,
well,
not to interrupt, but that's
no, it's
awesome.
I agree. I was about to say it's fantastic if it's implemented well. Just because it's there doesn't mean it's going to be done
Well,
right. This matters because Internet of Things is still frontier-ish, right? 10 billion plus connected devices worldwide, and many lack
ye-
basic security. Supply chain risk. Compromised IoT device can serve as a foothold for network intrusions. Seen that way too many times over the last 20 years. Look up any major attack against a power plant, and it usually was from a camera that was able to be air gapped. Global influence. Australian standards are often adopted by other markets, setting a precedent. So, what should you or can you be doing about this? Well, if you have any IoT devices, you should be auditing your smart home and verify that devices support secure over-the-air updates and have default passwords changed. I still can't believe how many people just use the default password on their provider, internet provider gateway device. Use dedicated IoT network segments to isolate smart devices from critical business networks or the rest of your home, something that is on my to-do list that I just have not gotten around to. But yes, super important. Stay informed on standards. Manufacturers will release compliance reports and choose devices with the highest security rating and support the legislation. encourage regulators to adopt similar mandates in other regions. Cowboy?
Oh, it's like you were listening to my various soapboxes in my Security Plus bootcamp this week. I I went off on a small tangent about this very thing. Like, hey, we talked about like the Mirai malware that took advantage of Internet of Things devices that didn't change admin logins and passwords because the average user didn't know they have admin and login passwords. So, like, I still refuse to get a smart fridge because one, I don't need a text message when I'm low in milk. I'll just look like a responsible adult. But two, I just don't need that thing connected to my internet because it's just one more thing, and it doesn't give me any bang for the buck, right? Like there's no, I
Yeah.
don't see an upside in. I'm sorry.
I
And
recently
so
heard
yeah,
that somebody there was a story, I don't remember all the details, everybody, so I apologize. A story where a person had a smart vacuum, like an auto, like a RoboVac, right? And they realized that the RoboVac was like pinging the network and then sending the network infrastructure information back out to the RoboVac's uh, uh,
like parent company.
yeah, yeah, thank you. Sorry,
Oh god.
my memory just crashed. And then so he put it he blocked that experience traffic. He stopped that from getting out of his network. And the moment he stopped that information from flowing out of his network, they bricked the device
Whoa.
because, again, I don't know. Like, but so what I'm gonna do, because I still like some smart technology. I'm not anti-tech. I hope everybody realizes. I really am going to set up a bifurcated network with its own IP range that is just for connecting my IoT devices to the internet and not allow them to touch the rest of my devices. Now, there will be some bridge devices, but they will access through the various applications that they're supposed to, right? Like my phone or my tablet will have the applications necessary on it to interact with the devices, which will be interacting via the internet. So that's how that'll work. So I'm still going to have a footprint of potential vulnerability, but it's going to be a whole heck of a lot smaller. That's all I got.
And I got us off on a small tangent there, but I do want to re-emphasize that like I think it would be fantastic if the US and other countries, if you could go by and look and be like, oh, this has an A plus cybersecurity rating, right? Or a C. That just something to try to kickstart the average user to, have a little bit of confidence in what they're buying. Again, everything fails in implementation, right? Like PKI
Very
is a
true.
great idea, but it fails when it's implemented poorly. But I mean, baby steps. Like that would be cool to see a security rating on packages. We have similar things for everything else, like food and energy, right? Everything's got an energy rating now. So why not security?
Yeah, 100%, Cowboy, as you
Why
would
not?
say, 100%.
100%. I'm gonna write my congressman.
Okay. Our next story: lessons learned running a honeypot with AI assistance. Sans intern Austin Bodola, I apologize if I mispronounced your last name there, Austin, recounts deploying a honeypot to attract attackers and feed AI systems with live threat data. The post details how AI classifiers helped identify malicious patterns, filter out noise, and prioritize alerts. It also discussed operational challenges maintaining realistic services, avoiding accidental data leaks, and integrating AI with SIM pipelines. This matters because this shows active threat hunting and how honeypots lure adversaries while providing real time intelligence. It shows AI assisted analytics that are reducing analyst workload and improving detection accuracy, and some operational best practices. He gives guidance on deployments, monitoring, and data handling. What can or should you be doing about this? Well, you should be setting up a low interaction honeypot if you know what you're doing. Foot stomp on that point tonight. Use tools like HoneyD or Dionia to emulate vulnerable services. If you are in a position to do so, do not make your network a beacon for people to want to come after. Integrate AI models. Deploy open source or commercial machine learning classifiers to triage alerts, log and archive, and store all interaction logs for post-mortem and training data, and review legal and ethical boundaries and ensure you comply with local regulations on data capture. Cowboy?
Yeah, to the average user, please don't do this. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble real quick.
Real quick.
Right. A honeypot, for those that don't know, is a network set up to mimic a real one to bring attackers in and to be able to let them do their business, but watch what they do and learn their TTPs and learn their behavioral habits and essentially do intel on them, right? So it is for skilled professionals to do because it can go bad real fast. Same reason we say don't try to attack someone attacking you because odds are you're just going to ramp up the attack and really hurt yourself in the end, right? Like leave it to the professionals. But hey, cool, good on Sans. I mean, Sans is highly respected in the cybersecurity
this is their
community.
butter. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is their thing.
Uh, their trainings are very, very technical, very in depth, very respected. So cool to see. Got to get in there and continue gathering threat data to provide intel to the community.
Yes, sir. All right. In our last story, U.S. orders diplomats to fight data sovereignty initiatives. In a newly released diplomatic cable, the Trump administration directed United States diplomats to lobby against international efforts to regulate how tech companies handle foreign data. The cable cites concerns that such regulations could impede U.S. companies' ability to access and analyze data for artificial intelligence development and national security purposes. Critics warn this stance may spark backlash and further entrench data sovereignty movements worldwide. This matters because this is another level of geopolitical cybersecurity at speed. Data sovereignty debates influence cross border data flows, surveillance, and AI trading data. There is a business impact to all of this. U.S. tech firms face higher compliance costs if foreign governments enforce stricter controls and privacy and trust issues. Pushback on data sovereignty can erode public trust in global data exchanges. So, what could you be doing about all this right now? Well, advise clients on compliance and educate your business partners and your colleagues on upcoming regulations worldwide. Encourage data governance frameworks and adopt data classification, localization, and encryption best practices. Stay up to date on policy developments and monitor what type of diplomatic statements or proposed laws are coming out that could affect data residency, and engage in advocacy. Join industry groups lobbying for balanced data safety regulations. Cowboy?
This is like last week's big ethical conundrum you hit us with at the end there.
It's a thing.
Oh,
Okay,
I've
before you
a
go,
lot of thoughts. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm for a level of data sovereignty. I think that that's not necessarily bad. I'm also for a level of data openness, right? I think the last point there is really the foot stomp. Join industry groups lobbying for balanced data safety regulations. We should not be swinging the pendulum into a world where things are bifurcated off from each other. That history has shown that doesn't lead to very, very good outcomes long term. We also shouldn't be in a world where I can take whatever I want whenever I want. I don't think that has ever shown to be a good and positive outcome. Somewhere in the middle is probably where we need to be. That's my 2 cents.
No, you really hit it spot on. I fully agree. In the middle is almost always the right choice. My biggest concern that jumps out is the ability to do for like FBI for crime reasons, right? We already run into problems where adversaries go through countries that don't share data on purpose because when we start trying to figure out who's doing what, we hit that country and it's a roadblock, right? And we can't go past that to find out who else did stuff. So I'm worried about that with with this, right?
Well,
Like that's my number one
let me
concern.
be the devil's advocate on that. Okay, we have had many stories on this podcast that shows Interpol, right, being able to work together, or other countries being able to work together in a multinational sort of way to hunt down cyber criminals and bring them to justice. So cooperation and communication matter. Blocking each other is not going to be helpful.
Right. So, like you said, there can be a middle ground where you're doing just enough of both sides to
Mhm.
make it make sense. However, I don't know if history shows politicians can freaking do that
Well, that's a
in
different
any way,
problem.
shape, or form. But yeah, eh, interesting. This will be an interesting thing to watch over the
Yeah,
next couple of years.
next couple of years is definitely going to really be interesting in this space, along with almost everything inside of cyber at this point, right? Um, it's a weird moment, inflection moment for a lot of reasons, and it's gonna be interesting for sure. And we'll be here talking about it every week.
Darn right.
Cowboy, what else you got for us tonight?
All right, I got a good longer than usual closing comment.
Okay.
So, the honeypot smiles, the attacker connects, and AI says, "Interesting. Tell me more." Because noise is free, signals are intelligence. Honeypots plus AI? Now that's threat intel on tap. I'm Cyber Cowboy. Stay frosty.
I'm the professor of CyberRisk. That's all the news for this week, and my soapbox. And we'll talk again soon. If you like this podcast, share it with your colleagues and friends. Your support is how we are able to continue to make this content. Thank you.